Yo, this is Talking with Taco. I'm your host, Taco, joined with my co-host, Eli, and my other co-host, Orda. And today, you guys are in for a special treat today. We have a special guest. Orda, would you like to introduce our guest?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone that has tuned in with the podcast. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a blessed day or had a blessed day wherever time you're hearing this. And just hope for blessings for everyone that listens. But to get on with this, our special guest today is Cole, or also known with ColeWithTheFacts. He's famous on TikTok. Cole, love to have you on here. Eli, can you take us off?
Cole grew up in Washington. He played high school football there and currently plays receiver at Cal Lutheran with us. Mm-hmm. He's Cole with the Facts on TikTok. He has 2.3 million followers, 43.9 million likes, and over 150 million views. Cole, how does it feel to be on?
I'm excited to get after it. I've been looking forward to this all week, like I said earlier, and yeah, let's get right into it.
There you go, Cole. All right, Cole. How did Cole with the Facts start? You know, because huge TikTok platform, huge page. Mm-hmm. You're really famous. You're on like famous birthdays and stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So how did this all come about?
Yeah, so I guess I'll go back to like that origin. I talked about the origin earlier, but we'll go way far back. So I've always like loved like making videos and stuff. Like middle school and elementary school, I was like, I made a couple, YouTube videos here and there. And it was always something like a little side hobby that was an interest to me, but I never really got into it because of sports and, everything socially and whatnot. So that was just kind of like a side thing I never really thought about. And then the winter of my sophomore year of high school, which was like 2019, it was right before 2020, COVID, everything started. I had a buddy of mine who had 15 or 16,000 views on a TikTok that he made. He was like, there's no way you can pass that over the 2 weeks of winter break. And I was like, all right, bet. Like, I'll bet $20 on it. I'll beat you. And I ended up trying to beat it. I just posted videos that I thought were cool. And I didn't have anything go viral. Nothing happened. Maybe had like 10 followers by the end of it. And it was a little discouraging at first. But eventually I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. Like, I may have lost some money with my boy here, but why not keep doing it? Because it's like a passion I've always kind of, never really tapped into until that point. And so I kind of didn't think much of it. And then COVID shut down everything, and there was really no online school for me for about a month or maybe 2 months, where there was just pretty much like a dead period. There's nothing. And so I was like, I'll start making these videos again. And I would make anything that came to mind. Like, I started off just kind of all over the place. Then about March or April, I honed into the fact stuff, but it wasn't what it looked like now. It was more just like, my voice wasn't in it. I would point at like the title of the video. There would be video or music in the background, and it would just get right into like the visuals of what I was talking about or whatnot. So my voice was just not in it. There's no audio of my voice, just the music. And just doing that alone, I got up to about 100,000 followers in like the end of April of 2020.
Oh my God.
And the goal was originally 10K. Like, I was like, it'll be cool if like, how on like Instagram stuff, if someone has 10K, it's like 10.0 and then K. I was like, that's cool. Like, I want like the decimal with the K. Like, I don't want the comma. That was cool. And I was like, I hit 10K, and I was like super happy about it. Like, I was stoked. And my friend's like, just keep going. Like, why not go for 100K? And I laughed. I was like, no way, man. Like, I'll keep having fun. We'll see what happens. Probably nothing. And so I eventually got to 100K. Like I said, my parents were weirded out by it. My friends thought it was like kind of weird, but they thought it was cool. Yeah. My mom was like, I don't want you posting all this random stuff on the internet for people to see. Like, who's watching you. And then that was like the first ever like ad deal with a company I did. It was like some small app, and that was for like $50. And then she was all like on board after that, because then like, I was making money, kind of. And so she kind of bandwagoned onto that. But the style of Cole with the Facts that you see today, that really kind of happened, I'd say May or June, I remember it. I saw this dude who was kind of doing similar stuff to me, like facts and whatnot, stories or whatever. But he would talk with earbuds and like into the little microphone on your Apple earbuds. And I was like, the stuff I'm doing now is like facts and, whatever, like stories, celebrity facts, sports facts, whatnot. Yeah. And I was like, what, like if I talked into the microphone, maybe that would help me like convey what I'm trying to get across better than just like throwing up all these images and words on the screen. Like, what if I just freestyled, talked it, maybe had lines written down or something? And so I tried that. And the first ever video I did with that style, where I'm talking with my face in front of the camera, it was a video in like mid-June. It was like top 3 things or objects or animals. I forget what it was like specifically called, but it was like things that are way bigger than you think in real life.
Yeah.
Which the comments, weird title. It was a little bit of a weird title. It was a weird title, right?
Yeah.
But no, it was like, I forget what it was, but it was like, you know, the actual size of like a street billboard that you drive by on the interstate, or like the size of a traffic light, like stoplight, red, green, yellow. Like those are actually like this big, like they're huge.
Yeah.
Like cool stuff like that. And that video got like 8 million views. And I was like, all right, maybe this niche is like working for me. Maybe I'll stick to this. And so I kind of, if you scroll down far enough, you'll see the transition from like the first stuff, what I did, to the kind of birth of what I do now. But at that point in time, I would make those videos in my bathroom, because that's where it was like, you know, darkest. There's no windows in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I would tape my phone to the door. And I would also tape a lamp to the door too, which is how I would do my lighting.
Like the lighting and
like
stuff.
it was really, really just not professional. And I would put my
you made it
earbuds
work
in.
though. You made it work.
I would get on my knees and like, you know, level it, and I would just film like that. And like, if you can see like the back of my bathroom, like it's just not very professional. But I did that for a while, and then I changed it. I started doing them in my room, like with my room in the background. And then eventually that video started doing really well. Got about, I don't know, 500K or something, 600. And then that was the point in August, which was my birthday. I turned, let's see, 17? Yeah, 17. So that was like 2020. My parents were like, all right, you know, you're at the point now where you do this all the time. You're starting to talk to some companies, you know, ads or whatnot. So here's a ring light and a little green screen behind you. I think it was pretty inexpensive, but for a while there, I had, most of my high school years, I had a green screen in my room with a little light.
That's pretty sick.
And so I prop up my phone, and that's where I started, you know, putting the backgrounds behind me in the intro, so you can't see anything behind me but the picture that I used. And so that I started doing fall 2020, and then I'll never forget this. I was probably at, I don't know, 700,000 followers. I was going to hang out with one of my friends, one of my best friends back home at his house, spent the night, whatnot. And it was still online school, so I still had like tons of time to make videos. And I made this video. I came to find out that people love being scared, like scary videos, scary true, whatever.
Like they stick to the video.
Like CCTV, like security camera stuff, scary footage, whatnot. People love that stuff. That stuff did the best. It was right around October, so like, you know, Halloween time.
Halloween, yeah.
So I did like, I forget the title. It was like weird things that can't be explained or something like that, caught on camera. So I posted a video like that, and my phone like was dead the whole time at my buddy's house. Like I drafted it up, went to his house and posted it, and his Wi-Fi was horrible. So like I barely got it off. I was like, all right. And I went to bed, whatnot, you know, watched a movie, whatever. Woke up and it was just exploding. Like that video just exploded.
How many likes or views?
So by that morning, it was probably at like 4 million, 5 million. And I was just like, whoa, like that was 10 hours ago. Like, this is good. This is on the roll now. And
how many views does that have now?
So I went to my job that morning, which was a youth flag football referee. So I was just kind of like, every like whistle blow, I'd be like checking, like updating it, see what is that. Yeah. And when it was all said and done, that video got 30 million views.
Oh, wow.
And that was the video that really kind of blew up my page. That's when I kind of crossed the 1 million threshold.
So day before, 700, or roughly 700.
Yeah, it might have been a little less.
The next day, over 1 million?
No, it wasn't like that. It was like a gradual increase. So like I posted that video, that one blew up. And then it's funny, I'll probably talk about it later, but like if you have a video that blows up on TikTok and you post one the next day, that one's probably going to get a lot of views because of, you know, people are seeing your videos, they're seeing your account, so they're checking you out. So I like to call it like riding the wave, like the momentum, right? So I was like, okay, I'll just start making more just like this. So I started doing more scary ones in October that month. And I think after that 30 mil view video, I think the next 4, I don't know, maybe 6 videos after that all were over 1 million or 2 million views. So it was like they all just like fed off of that giant one.
Yeah. And
I think by November, I should know the day, I don't remember, but first or second week of November, I hit 1 million, 2020. And then, that's when I just never really changed it up. And I've been posting ever since.
That's cool. Yeah, you're a smart man, though. Obviously, like, with all COVID and stuff happening, like, everyone's stuck at home, obviously, on their phones and stuff. you gave the people what they wanted.
Mhm.
You know everyone's stuck at home, so it's like you did it at the perfect time. Like it was a genius move by you.
Thank you.
So congratulations
Thank you.
on that.
Cool. Do you have any stories of like cool stories or like, whoa, I'm kind of like a celebrity? Like, do you ever get recognized, or do you have any like cool things that have happened?
I like to say I'm like it's happened before, I'll tell the stories, but I'm like a D-list celebrity because people don't watch my videos for me. They watch me for what I'm talking about. So like, you don't watch the news for like the news anchor, you watch it for the news, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of like to say. But yeah, it's happened before. I mean, like, school was weird coming back because, after 2020 when you were not there.
And then you come back and like,
Come back.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, people didn't really, like, make, they weren't crazy about it because they all knew.
But
me.
they were
It was
just like,
it was kind of
whoa.
weird. Like, people would call me ColeWithTheFacts in the hallways. I'm like, oh, all right, like, this is weird, but
Yeah.
it was cool. Yeah, there's been a couple times. There was one time I was going in for my wisdom teeth surgery. And there was, we'll probably talk about this later as well, but there was, I got featured on a Seattle news thing about my TikTok because it was like a high school sports segment and somebody, I don't know, told them about me or whatnot. And so I was on that, and it was like a couple days after that was on TV. And I was about to go like under for my wisdom teeth surgery, and the lady's like, do you have an Instagram account? And I'm like, yeah, I do, but you're probably asking about TikTok because I knew it was on TV. She's like, yeah, TikTok. Were you on the news? And I was like, yeah. And it was weird because that was like 5 minutes before I was, getting surgery on my face.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird. Another time, this one happened here actually. This was really weird. This was like September. It was like after a game, there was something going on down the road, a little hangout, and some dude came up to me that I'd never seen before in my life. He was a freshman, and he was like, you have TikTok, don't you? And I'm like, yeah. That was weird because nothing like that has ever happened because it's been like my hometown's kind of small, so obviously I've been recognized a couple times, but it's not that big of a deal because it's a small town. But down here it was weird because I'm 900 maybe 1,000 miles away from Seattle, and this kid came up to me. He's like, I follow you on TikTok, man. I'm like, oh, that's like, whoa, this is weird. Like, thank you. Like, I didn't know what to say. But yeah, there's been a couple times. It's I don't really know how to describe it.
I saw the famous birthdays thing, like the website where it like has celebrities' birthdays, and it was like Cole, and then it like had like a picture of him and like information about him. Yeah. And I was like, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that actually happened in the summer of 2020, like before all the big stuff happened. That was weird. It happened on the 4th of July.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's
you got your
sweet.
own fireworks.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. So how is it now? Like obviously, like your TikTok's like famous and stuff like that. Like how many girls like realistically they're like, oh, shout me out on a TikTok and stuff like that.
Oh,
How often do you get asked to shout out?
Yeah.
Oh, all the time. There's been, I would say there hasn't been like a crazy amount of people who bug me about that. There's been girls who ask me to post them on my TikTok, but I'm just like, nah, like I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
I honestly, I could be more lenient about that, but I'm pretty strict when it comes to like I post like my content. I don't want to like post something random and have it ruin like
Yeah, because you could also lose like
analytics.
a ton of followers.
It's crazy. If I don't post for like a month, people will unfollow me. Like I'll lose like maybe 1,000 followers. But
That's crazy.
yeah, like it's weird.
Yeah.
Which is like it's been hard down here because I've been busy with football and everything. But
That's crazy. You're a college football player. You go to class, and then you're like a TikTok. That's just crazy. It's a busy.
yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. It's been a part of my life for like 3 years now, where I just kind of think it's like a side thing, little hobby. But yeah, I definitely could post a little more. I posted a video 2 weeks ago, and then one right after that, so I got to get back on that this weekend.
Gotta get on the grind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like obviously like transitioning and stuff like that off of TikTok and stuff. How would you like describe your experience so far at Kalu and stuff?
Yeah.
Like that?
Well, first, how did you get to Kalu? Because you're also a TikTok star, but you're also a really, really good high school football player.
Right.
You're a first team all conference. You played in the all-state, all-star game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, what was your recruiting process like? You grew up in Washington. How did you end up at Kalu?
Yeah, so I probably had 7 or 8 kind of like D3 NAIA small schools. I had like UPS PLU, which is pretty local for me. Like UPS is like 15 minutes from my house.
Where'd you go to high school?
Gig Harbor High School. I'm
In Washington?
Yeah, Gig Harbor, Washington. It's like 45 minutes south of Seattle. So kind of like western Washington. But yeah, I knew that I wanted to play college football right before my senior year, like my junior year. I was like, I'm committed. I want to do this.
Yeah.
Start sending out my film to, people, coaches. And I actually contacted Calou because there's no D2s down here anymore, right? They got rid of all the D2s.
Yeah.
So there's only, I mean, obviously Pac-12, and then there's, FCS, which is like Sac State and UC Davis. So that's about it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to shoot a couple smaller schools down here in email because both my parents went to college kind of in Northern California. So I've always been like, I want to go somewhere nice for college. Because Washington, other than like the summer, it's just rainy. Like it's just, there's like not much sun for 9 months out of the year. So it's like, I want to go somewhere nice for college where it's like, a different environment. So I kind of was like, I want to go somewhere sunny. So Southern California, obviously sunny, a lot of opportunity because I want to go into like media marketing, media management.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it kind of stemmed from TikTok, obviously. So I'm like, LA's, that's like the mecca of that. So
yeah, absolutely.
So I was like, I want to go in a place that will set me up after college as well as, being a cool place for college. So I reached out to Calou. They got back to me. At the time, the receiver coach was a different coach. He's not here anymore. But he kind of was the first coach to call me every now and then. And then my first visit was Calou in October. I came out for a game in my senior year. I just really liked the way the coaches talked and the hospitality everybody showed me. And people in the crowd were like super nice and friendly. And it's not a huge school, but it's also, it's compared to other D3s, it's pretty good size, about 4,000 kids. So I was like, there's enough kids where there's a social aspect, but it's not big enough to where you feel lost. So like it felt right. And then I came down for another visit in January, met some cool guys on the visit as well. And ultimately just came down to where I like the best feel, best fit, as well as like financial stuff. So I chose Calou.
When you were down here, did you visit any other schools?
I talked to Chapman while I was down here for my second visit. And that was about the only other school in the SCIAC. I talked to Pomona, but they never offered. I probably wouldn't have got into that school. I have good grades, but so that's probably crazy expensive too. So,
absolutely.
But it was like I got an offer from Chapman, but it wasn't really like in depth. It was just kind of like briefly come visit. And it wasn't even like an official. He just kind of showed me around school, and that was it.
Yeah.
Came up here, and then Calou treated me right. Full tour, full everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you here.
Yeah, we're happy.
Yeah.
I remember when I heard because I was like. They're like, oh, we have this receiver. Like, someone told me there's a receiver in our class that was, like, TikTok famous. And then, like, my first impression was, like, dances and stuff. And then I was like, what? And they showed me your videos. I'm like, oh, these are pretty cool. Like, he's just, like, going over facts and stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I'm like, I wonder if he's going to be, like, cocky or, like, but he's just, like, you would, like, never know Cole is TikTok famous.
Yeah.
Like, he's just, like, the nicest, like, mellow, like, humble guy. So, dude. Yeah, we love you here, Cole.
Thank you. Yeah, I try not to talk about it until people find it,
Yeah.
I just don't I don't want to let that like define my personality,
because then it's like it's kind of like like overstepping and stuff like that. Like, oh, you see my
you don't
TikTok.
like flex it, and then you're like, oh, this guy thinks he's all cool.
Exactly.
No, that's definitely not the personality I want.
Definitely understandable. So.
I have a burning question I wanted to ask you.
Let's hear it.
One, like for your videos on your TikTok, obviously you do facts and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you do like research for that? And then two, what's your like most what's the fact that stands out the most to you?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question, Taco. I'd say the first part of that question, the research, that's interesting because a lot of people ask me that. And what I do is sometimes I'll see something like on YouTube or Instagram, like, oh, that's a cool story. That's a cool, fact or whatever. And I'll screenshot it and I have like a folder and I'll go and look through all these ideas. And my favorite kind of video to post is like stories, like historical stuff. And I'll tell you one after this, which is pretty good. Probably my favorite video. And yes, it's a process. If it's like a quick video, like not an in-depth story thing, take me probably 30 minutes to get all the photos and visuals. And then film. Film doesn't take very long. I don't have a script though, so I just kind of like go off the dome. If you watch me shoot, it takes a while because it's almost like you're an actor saying lines. Like you don't get it right the first time. So it's definitely a funny process for my roommates to see.
I remember Kyle posted a picture one time on Snapchat, his story, and it was like, bro, I'm just trying to do homework with like a lobby base, and it was like you with like the light, and you're like making a video.
Yeah,
you and Kyle are like probably one of the coolest like duos in the team. You're really good friends.
Thank you.
But keep going.
Yeah, so it's a lot of. If it's like an in-depth one where I'm like, okay, this is a cool story. This needs to be perfect. I'll do like an hour, maybe an hour and a half of just finding stuff. Typically, if it's like a long video like that, close to a minute, I'll write down like, not lines, but like, bullet points I want to cover.
Yeah.
And so, I think the research part of it is definitely something that you don't see behind the screen when you're like scrolling, because like that's really like that's all I see. Like I don't see my videos on my For You page, so it's like all I see is the behind the scenes, and it does sometimes feel like a job when you're scrolling through stuff trying to find an idea.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun seeing it come out at the other end when you're all said and done filming. So yeah, that's kind of the whole research part of your question. I would say, in terms of like a video that stands out or a fact that stands out to me, there is one video I posted. It's I'll tell it. It's World War II related, so little graphic, but not graphic, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's okay. Cool.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's PG. So I think it got like 8, 10 million. I forget.
Something like
It was like
Cool, we're trying to be like you. We're trying to be like you, bro.
I love how he says it casually.
Yeah.
Too, like negative.
Imagine we said like 10 million views on our podcast. Like,
But yeah, continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this one was almost 2 years ago. Yeah, so it's the story. I think it was a British soldier. I could be wrong. I'll find it. I'll show you guys later. But basically, they were on like the front lines with the Germans and fighting at stuff for that day. And there was only a couple more British soldiers like in this bunker overlooking like the field where they were. Just trying to see if there's anybody like, creeping up or lingering or anything, anybody hurt. And so this one guy, he's like kind of scanning the bunker. He gets out, he's walking around, checking everything. And he sees this guy in the distance, probably, 50 to 60 yards away. And it's like kind of foggy, so you can't really see, like his face or anything. He sees him walking. He's kind of limping, so he's hurt. And he gets closer to this guy, and he realizes it's a German. He's wearing a German uniform. And he gets the guy doesn't see him because it's so hazy. And eventually they get probably, 30 yards, 20 feet away, 20 yards, whatever, away from each other. So they're looking at each other. The British guy, he has his gun, and he's like, we made eye contact, and he's about my age, and he's unarmed. He's got no gun. He's hurt. He's like, I just couldn't do it. Like, I'm not going to shoot him. He's not a threat. He'll turn around, go back to the base, whatever. So he leaves him. Fun. All right, this is where it gets crazy. This is my favorite part of the story. So 20 or whatever, not 20, but probably I don't know why I said probably 2 years later. I don't know why I said 20. Because the war's still gone.
Yeah.
So it turns out that that story I told you, it was told from the same perspective, but of the German perspective. Guess who that German soldier was?
was it Hitler?
Yeah.
Wait, so that was World War One.
Yeah, that was I meant to say that was World War One.
So that was World War One, and then he was. And the guy just didn't take the shot because he's like.
Yeah, because he wasn't gonna shoot him, right? It was like 19, 17, whatever. He hadn't heard, Hitler wasn't.
He was just a soldier.
He wasn't on top yet, right? So he was like, all right, I'm not gonna shoot this guy. And then 20 years later, Hitler tells that same story, but
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And for that video, how much research did you do? That? Did you do a lot?
Yeah, I found that one on a YouTube video, I think, and that one I was like, okay, this one, because that's probably one of my favorite videos because you watch the whole thing and then bam, literally the final second or 2 seconds of the minute-long video, then it's just whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that
think
one,
about how different the world would be if you just
took a shot.
Yeah.
Another funny, not funny, but another side of that story actually is that when he was a kid, Hitler, I don't think I ever made a video about this one, but he was fell into a lake or a river in Germany and he was drowning and he was a little kid and this priest saved him.
Dude, yeah. Have you ever heard
of exclusive facts? That's not all.
Yeah.
Dude,
have you ever heard the theories if you got into art school?
Yeah.
Because you got rejected from art school.
Yeah. That's.
It's just crazy how one little incident can just change all of human history.
Yeah. There's,
this world would be because think about. I think it was 43 million people, somewhere I could probably be wrong around there, died in total in World War II, fighting civilians, the Holocaust, everything. And then think about Industrial Revolution, how much more technologically we got advanced as a world in that short period of time, or how different wars could have broken out. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of
just that one shot, Taco.
Yeah, I wonder what he felt when he heard that, the British guy.
Because he did
it's not his fault.
He thought he was doing a good thing. He's this is just an innocent soldier, but then like you don't know that's gonna like.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of other videos that kind of have like a plot twist like that, but if you guys want to hear them, I'll tell them. But you know,
Tell him, Cole.
let me think. There's probably one or two that are pretty good. All right, I'll try and this one's kind of old, but I'll try and retell it as best I can. But there was these like twins, right? And they were identical, and they were separated from birth. They never knew about it, and so I forget how they ended up finding each other, but they tracked each other down at some point, and they ended up being adopted by two different families, right? And both those families had the same last name, and they both named their kid the same first name. So they had the same name, but they were identical twins separated at birth, both adopted by two different families. But here's where it gets crazy. So they I think they were in like the same field of work or something, maybe the same job. They both named. I remember this part. They both married a woman, and both of the women's names were Betty. They were both named Betty. They had the same wife's name. Technically, same wife, first and last, because married.
Yeah.
So they had the same first last name as each other, and their wives had the same first last name as each other. And then I believe both their dogs were named the same name too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool. That one,
That's like-
and they went on like the Tonight Show back in like the 70s. Like it's real. You can like look that up. And
That's
stuff.
crazy.
Yeah, there's more to it. I'm leaving out parts I forget, but there's like more coincidences too.
What's it? Do you have any more like off the top of your head?
Oh man, I gotta think. Top of the head. I don't know. I gotta look at the page and scroll through them, but
I gotta look back at the
yeah,
facts. and
there's a
stuff,
lot.
yeah.
I mean, I've probably made 500 videos. I don't even remember.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's.
Go follow Cole with the Facts.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Shout out Cole with the facts.
Shout out Cole with the Facts.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll find more after this, but there's a lot.
That was huge for him.
Yeah, that was. All right, well, I think that concludes this episode. Thank you so much, Cole, for being on the
Appreciate it. I
show.
appreciate
Cole,
it.
this is huge for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to everyone that tuned in and listened. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Taco.
This was Talking with Taco. Thank you, Cole, for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having
And thank you guys so much for listening.